surprising in that it was so broad in which countries came out and sided with China very explicitly. And the difference between what they're doing in this case as opposed to what's going on in the Ukraine and Russia cases, it doesn't look like they're being bullied, at least not publicly, to choose a side. They're actually making that choice to make their stand clear. The only two outliers that seem to side with Taiwan were two regions that are not recognized as countries at all. And this is all happening while the U.S. and French troops are very much in different parts of Africa with a lot of control. But what you're seeing is that even governments that are working as U.S. puppets or French puppets, they are taking the side of China in this case. And that may be because they know they have to make some concessions with their people and make it very clear that they're not antagonizing China in this case.
So, in 1979, the United States cut diplomatic ties with Taiwan and switched its diplomatic recognition to China. Although the U.S. sells weapons to Taiwan, Washington has formal ties with China, not Taiwan, which is why the visit by Pelosi, a high-level U.S. lawmaker, caused a political storm in Beijing. For most of the 60s, Taiwan was more influential than China in Africa. But that changed in 1971 when the UN General Assembly affirmed China's place on the body and denied Taiwan a role, with the majority of African states voting with China. Since President Xi Jinping's global infrastructure project, the Belt and Road Initiative, came to Africa along with Chinese loans and investments, more countries have switched ties to Beijing, with Burkina Faso, the second to last supporter of Taiwan on the continent, choosing to sever ties with Taipei in 2018. So what China is doing, so what the United States does in Africa and other places around the world, is what we do is we'll send military in, and then we'll have the CIA foment an overthrow of the government, and then we'll try to steal their natural resources for a capitalist company back here in the United States, and then we call that bringing democracy. So we usually side with dictators or with terrorists or whatever, because we always have capitalistic monetary interests in stealing natural resources from Africa and any place else in the world. And so that's happening right now. So in Ethiopia, we're backing, the United States is backing terrorists. And I think the African nations are seeing what's happening. So what China does, their influence in Africa is, instead of using imperialistic military tactics, what they decided to do was make loans available to countries in Africa that need infrastructure. And that's called their Belt and Road Investment Initiative. And a lot of people are trying to say that that's also nefarious, just as nefarious as what the United States does with our military or what the IMF does. They're not like that.
Right.
Go ahead.
While there is some debate, on the African continent that we shouldn't, or the African people should not become too dependent on countries like China or Russia, the general consensus is Russia or China, at least at these times, does not come in and foment war and arm opposition groups and extremist groups in countries. So right now, China and even Russia is considered a more reliable partner than the United States. This month has been a very difficult month for Somalia. It looks like the United States has tightened its control on the politics of Somalia and the security apparatus of Somalia, and the result has been disastrous. In May, we saw President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, the former president, appointed into his position by a parliamentary vote. He's considered a U.S. puppet, and that parliamentary vote did not reflect the will of the people. Former President Farmajo was and is very much popular, and around the same time, we saw Biden sending hundreds of U.S. troops to Somalia, reversing Trump's withdrawal, and the result of that has been the rise of al-Shabaab. This month, we are seeing al-Shabaab do things that we have, and last week, we saw al-Shabaab militants storm into a hotel, a Hyatt hotel, in the capital of Somalia, and
lightning words.
Let's see. Wizards? Yes. Magic? Mythical creatures? Absolutely. Dragons? Hell yeah. Blacks? What are blacks doing in my fantasy? My fantasy involves only white people because I'm a white I'm a fantasy enthusiast, and I just want to, stay short. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Do you want $40 or double it? Oh, you want $80 or double it and give it to the next person?
So the rest is more.
Okay. You want $160 or double it and give it to the next person? Double it. You want $320 or double it and give it to the next person? Double it and give it to the next person. Take this one. Hey, Mom, you want $640?
Double it, give it to the next person.
Nah, you're gonna have to take the $640.
I said double it, give it to the next person.
Hey, you want $1,280? Or double it, give it to the... Or double... Bro, just take the $1,000, please. Come on, man.
Double that shit, man. We'll take it back for everything.
Excuse me, do you want $40 or double it and give it to the next person?
Double it.
Oh! Do you want $80 or double it and give it to the next person? Okay. Do you want $160 or double it and give it to the next person?
Double it.
Do you want $320 or double it and give it to the next person? Take this one. Hey, Mom, you want $640?
Double it, give it to the next person.
Nah, you're gonna have to take the $640.
I said double it, give it to the next person.
Hey, you want $1,280? Or double it, give it to the... Or double... Bro, just take the $1,000, please. Come on, man.
Double that shit, man. We'll take it back for everything.
Excuse me, do you want $40 or double it and give it to the next person?
Double it and give it to the next person.
Oh! Do you want $80 or double it and give it to the next person? Okay. Do you want $160 or double it and give it to the next person?
Double it and give it to the next person.
Do you want $320 or double it and give it to the next person? Double it and give it to the next person. Take this one. Hey, Mom, you want $640?
Double it, give it to the next person.
Nah, you're gonna have to take the $640.
I said double it, give it to the next person.
Hey, you want $1,000?
Ooh, that'll do it.
Underestimating these Earthlings once already. Not again. This time I'm sending out a fighter who I'm certain will gather the kimchi we need.
Of course. My only concern is that Yakon will crush these three so completely there won't be any left for me to enjoy.
Funny. Last I checked, we needed to revive Morton Boo and avenge my father, not show you a good time.
As always, you are correct, Master. You heard the order. Fetch Yakon. Sir! one of the most feared monsters in the universe. This will not be an easy fight.
That's it, Yakon. Now steal their energy, every last bit. Yes, Majin Buu will be revived